Good evening, everybody. Thanks a lot for coming out. Always nice to see a big crowd on a warm evening. At least we have air conditioning. So before we get started, there are two exits in the back of the room. That exit goes directly outside. That's the way you came in. You can get out through that door if you need to. And because tonight is our business meeting, our first order of business is to recognize a resident or residents of the month. So I'll ask the Boston Spa girls soccer team to step right up here. Ladies, well, and gentlemen, your coaches can come too. You can go right up in front there. They take a little credit.
Where do you want?
Yeah, well, yeah, any place. So these young ladies have quite an accomplishment. In June, the team beat the South Shore FC Legacy team in overtime to take the Peter Masato Cup back to Malta. So I believe this is the second year in a row that you've been state champs. So 2 years in a row, state champs. They are based, why we also like this team is they are the hometown team. They're based right here in our Malta Luther Forest Athletic Fields is their home field. Another thing that makes it really impressive is that this team is community-based and all-volunteer organization, and they're often up against premier teams. So they showed them. And in my opinion, it's even more impressive that they received the Rocco Amoroso Sportsmanship Award. So they're also a team that shows good sportsmanship, and that gives them a lot of credit. I don't know what happened in Virginia, but they represented Eastern New York in the East Regionals in Virginia. So thank you. We're very proud of you. Congratulations, ladies. Then we'll get the town board down here to get a picture of everyone.
I think we should probably stand behind them. So, yeah, even though I'm short, I'll get behind the shortest piece. We'll get in between. We'll get in the middle between people. Yes. Someone say score. Go, go, go. Go.
Oh, that's great. That's awesome.
And if you, well, you obviously know how to expand your screen if you
Yep,
want.
yep, yep. Congratulations. Congrats, congrats. Go team, go team. Good job, girls. Good job. Yeah. All right. You're doing so.
Yeah, here. Hi, Jonathan.
On the 284, I'm gonna pass this down the line for you to all sign.
Do you, and plus, we didn't print,
284 agreement.
I don't think we printed those other two add-on resolutions for the rest of the board. They might need copies.
No, I'm looking at it.
Okay, now you got them online? Okay. All right, well, next on our agenda, before we start our official meeting, we have a presentation tonight by Dr. Jonathan Ashdown, who is the Executive Dean for Hudson Valley Community College North. I think he's going to share with us all of the exciting new things with HVCC North and in the future. So,
Yes.
welcome, Jonathan.
Yeah, and I almost wish that I had gone, maybe before the girls left, because that's exactly the demographic we're trying to attract over here. But, just spread the word. We have a phenomenal partnership with Ballston Spa High School. They, have been there for years running the PTech, the Pathway to Technologies program. Dr. Duca over at Ballston Spa, very phenomenal partner, and Adrian Snow, many of you probably know, who's the coordinator, and it's so much beyond that now. I think people thought of this as Tech Smart, right, which has been around since 2010 when Global Foundries came to town, but it's really expanding into its next kind of chapter. We just recently, and I'll share some of this on slides, but we just recently got our SUNY State Ed and Governor approved branch campus through the wickets of approval. It was probably, about a 2-year process from start to finish, and included visits from the New York State Education Department to make sure that we have all the facilities and amenities that would be appropriate, commensurate with the branch campus. So I'll go into that, but just what does that do for this region? What does that do for Malta and those we serve? Well, it really allows us to offer full academic programs at the associate's level right here in Malta. So before we could offer non-credit training, we can offer some college courses, but you couldn't offer full programs. Now this can be a one-stop shop where students can come. They'll never have to go to Troy unless they want to. They'll have the opportunity to do that. But who wants to go to Troy when you can live in beautiful Malta, right? And I'm an upstate New York guy through and through. I'm from another historic town nearby, Schuylerville. So I'm kind of a Saratoga County. My brother works in Saratoga County in the DA's office, and my other brother works in Washouibosi. So we're we prefer to be on this side of the Mohawk River, if and when possible. And this side of the Hudson as well. So I'll just show. So like, if this ends up going or not, that's okay. But this just shows a little visual of like the North Campus, and technically some a student from Ballston Spa actually took this beautiful shot here, and there's some videography associated with this as well. I'm not going to belabor it. So you've probably all been over here, and I'm amazed every time I get out in the community. Cynthia's been phenomenal, and I met the director of the Parks and Recreation, I think, on the way in too, right? So you guys have already proven to be phenomenal partners. The town of Malta, we're so happy to be based in Malta. But I will say, as I've kind of gotten to know the community better, I run into you sometimes at the Ugly Rooster. I love the Ugly Rooster. Azuma Sushi I'm always fueling up at Cumbies, getting my 10-cent smart pay, in there, Five Guys. I mean, it's just, there's so much great stuff going on. But, and Bentley's Tavern. So there are people who live right down the street from this place and have no clue what it is or what's going on. So I'm, kind of trying to educate the community. I'm sure most of you in this room know what's going on, but I just wanted to give you kind of a real-time update on, like Cynthia said, Supervisor Young, basically the fact that, here we are, where we've come from, what we've been doing, and then where we're going. And then hopefully you can help spread the word. So we're officially a branch campus, as I said, located right here in Malta, focused mostly on healthcare, STEM, and skilled trades professions, filling a gap. So we're not trying to compete head-to-head with Adirondack. We're not even trying to compete with ourselves down in Troy necessarily. We're not reinventing the wheel, but we're trying to offer high-impact programs that will benefit this region, the workforce in this region. So that goes for, Global Foundries hiring skilled talent, and that goes for the plethora of other amazing businesses, an industry we have in this area, getting the workforce they need to thrive and succeed. So we have for example, Quad Graphics, not too far from here. We have an apprenticeship program with them as well. So I think we have like 20 apprenticeship programs with different companies in this greater region. So I think sometimes, and we love Global Founders, they're a tremendous partner. I think sometimes their shadow they cast a large shadow, so we lose track of some of the little guys, right? But Quad Graphics and Owens Corning and different types of companies in our area we have such phenomenal relationships with. So we have a brand new STEM Education Center building. That's the one that was kind of pictured there at the beginning. And I know a picture's worth 1,000 words, but just to give you an idea of what programs we're moving out initially with: clean energy management, engineering science. I'm actually an proud alum of Hudson Valley's engineering science program before I went to RPI. I just came from an event in Troy. There's a lot of incoming students in this engineering science program, and then both in Malta and Troy. And then electrical construction maintenance. So this is like the future electricians. This has been a phenomenal success in Malta. All but one class is currently offered, but then now that we have the branch, the full program will be offered, including that last class we couldn't offer before. Health science certificate. So and I'll get to this, we're building two brand new, like a nursing skills lab and a nursing simulation lab, so that we're going to be able to offer nursing classes and degrees here in the future as well. And the health science certificate is kind of the stepping stone. And then near and dear to my heart, I'm an electrical engineer by trade. Electrical engineering technology, I actually taught and was a tenured professor in that before I moved into administration. And then general education, business, liberal arts, and humanities courses. So it was funny, my niece, also from Schuylerville, just showed up randomly at my place of work the other day, and she's like, "Oh, hey, Uncle John, I didn't know you worked at this location." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And she's like, "Yeah, I'm taking anatomy and physiology here. It's way better than driving to Troy." I'm like, well, there you go, like my own niece. And I'm like, "I thought you knew what I did for a living." She's like, "Well, I knew you were a dean. I just didn't know you worked in Malta." Okay, whatever. So apparently you need to talk to your 15-year-old niece more. So, so student service offerings. So this is all pretty new at Malta. So before it was just TechSmart. But, and sorry, I'll try to be as brief as possible, but I just want to give you good information. So we're going to have a little bookstore, weekly counseling, mental health and wellness, something we take pretty seriously. We have a center for assistive, basically technology. If people have a learning disability, we have those amenities or those services on site to help them out. We actually have a Steinway piano that plays itself. So if for no other reason, it's worth coming out, just checking out our 218-person auditorium and just seeing the Steinway play itself. It doesn't play itself all the time. You have to check in with the staff who will configure for you. But, I'm a music minor. My mom's a classically trained, violinist. So if I see a grant for mental health and wellness for people to enjoy some beautiful music, then, I'm going to go after that. So we ended up pulling that off. That was kind of fun. And then this is just some visuals on the spaces. So you can see some students enjoying the different little spaces. We want to make it comfortable. We want to make it warm and inviting and welcoming for students, a place where they like to hang out. And that's really proven true. No matter where your politics lie, we did get a federal grant through some FIPSI funding. Congressman Tonko is a great advocate for this. And we were able to get brand new furniture, brand new equipment in our facilities and labs. So that was actually a pretty big deal. And that was matched by the state. So you know, better part of $4 million of brand new state-of-the-art equipment, brand new state-of-the-art furniture. You can see we have these little soundproof pods so students can hang out and be, you know, like a secure place where they can have a conversation and, you know, without interruption or concentrate on their studies. And then, you know, some other comfortable little spaces as well. There's massage chairs too. So Steinway piano massage chairs. So, you know, I won't be surprised when I see some visitors from this room showing up over the coming weeks. You know, pickleball, cornhole, spike ball, ping pong tables. You know, these are probably over-promising a little bit, but no, the students love the games. And we have a great full-time student activities person now who really has amped up our student activities. And there's clubs forming, kind of like what you'd see on a real college campus, which is what we're striving for. So this is some of the office space where students can get advised. You know, they can hop on a computer, you know, create a draft schedule, check back in with the advisor, hey, am I looking good? And just get the support they need. Here's that little auditorium. There's the Steinway hiding in the corner. And this is the Nursing Skills and Simulation Lab, currently under construction, but it's pretty incubated in the building. There's like kind of a wall that kind of cordons off the construction, but it's a really nice, it's going to be a beautiful space. This is the new building, the STEM Education Center. So some different labs. So we have a biology, a chemistry, physics lab. We have a microbiology lab. And actually we can accommodate organic chemistry too, which is great. AMP, so the students, this has been one of our most popular courses, the AMP 1 and 2s. And they have the digital rendering, so they can almost like kind of like dissect the different layers of like the human body and really learn and get in there. That's Professor Liberty, she's great, Margaret Liberty. And then they have some other specimens as well. So really, really phenomenal equipment and laboratories that we have there now. And also these were, we spent the better part of, you know, very carefully based on industry feedback for what they need for workforce training, the better part of $1 million on these electrical construction maintenance trainers that will really help get the students trained to the degree that they need to be trained to hit the ground running at GlobalFoundries and other companies in our area. We also do drone light shows. So this is one of my students literally last night running the bicentennial show for the New York State canals. So we ran the Erie Canal and Champlain Canal the past like 3 days. So that's why I'm a little fried right now. But these are 3 Hudson Valley students. 2 of 3 studied right here in Malta. And actually, I think I can say this, but thanks to Cynthia and the team, because we were in a pinch last year for a place to just do some preliminary tests. And Cynthia was gracious enough to say, since it was an evening type of thing, right, when you're testing this stuff, that she knew the fields wouldn't be in use by the athletic teams. So she gave us permission to do a couple test launches, which was phenomenal. We learned a lot during those times. It was always done in a very safe manner, but I thought that was a beautiful little olive branch of a partnership, because these students literally were able to perform at the highest level. Congressman Tonko was deeply moved, according to the feedback I received at the event yesterday, and as well as New York State Governor's office reached out and said they were extremely impressed with the operation. So that wouldn't have been possible unless, you know, Cynthia had given us that permission. And then also, I guess, the one other nod I wanted to give was the same thing that you pointed out at our ribbon cutting, Cynthia, which was the fact that, you know, Malta with the Hermes project has a lot of rich history, right, with the rocket testing and whatnot. So something like a drone light show, a little bit innovative, a little bit kind of, this is like a little slice in time where this is becoming a real mainstream thing. And don't get me wrong, I love my fireworks too. But it's a pretty phenomenal experience if you ever get the chance to check one of those out. So anyway, without further ado, I think those are my key updates. Happy to take any quick questions, but I really appreciate the time and also the ongoing support from the board and the community members on this fantastic project that we're calling HVCC North. So thank you.
Thanks, Jonathan. It's really,
Yeah, pleasure. Thank you. Thank you.
it's really exciting to know that we have, a full-service educational institution here in Malta. So
Absolutely.
congratulations on your new accreditation, and
Thank you so
hopefully we'll
much.
find other ways to partner in the future.
Awesome. Thank you so
Questions?
much.
Any board members?
I have two questions.
Yep.
What are the plans for additional buildings on the site to build out the campus?
That's a great question. In fact, we're in the process, and I'm just, I'm a transparent kind of guy. So if we could afford it, we'd buy up more of STEP, right? The Saratoga Tech Energy Park. But we kind of have to, the ends have to justify the means. So we have to kind of prove out that, our enrollment can sustain the campus and then, merits further growth. But full disclosure is we are in negotiations with NYSERDA right now for about 6.5 acres that would allow for some modest expansion, perhaps one additional small building. But I also kind of have my eyes on, and I got to be careful, but I don't overstep, but the Ussolini Group has been a good partner of the college over the years, and they have 107 Hermes, so there's opportunity for leasing space there. But I've yet to have that meeting, although I do know him, and we've talked in the past about other things. But I'm hoping to have a nice meeting with him where we can discuss potential partnership opportunities to expand programming, because even things like electric vehicle training or automotive or heavy diesel, like I've met with Kubota Tractors, they want to run some sort of, equipment repair type of program in this region. They would not run it in Troy. They would actually donate the equipment. They like to do it in more rural areas. So anyway, we would need to expand over to say 107 Hermes or build kind of a high base space where it could accommodate that type of thing. So,
I do see that NYSERDA is selling a fair amount of land there.
oh yeah,
If you wanna pick it up.
260 acres.
That would be wonderful to have a full-scale campus there.
Agreed. Yeah, and that's what we're striving for. And if anybody has any ideas, but we're trying to find those creative means to be able to purchase some additional land and look toward the
That's
expansion.
great. My second question is stupid, but I'm going to ask it anyway. If you go back to the first picture you showed,
Oh, sorry, I pulled my laptop. I apologize.
how come the two buildings were never connected with an overhang?
Phenomenal question. In fact, it's
doesn't make
something
any
that we're looking to do, but the budget unfortunately didn't. I know it sounds ridiculous. I wasn't the clerk of the works. I was just kind of like the academic guy, kind of with weighing in. But I made the same point. I was like, it'd be great, just like in Troy,
Yeah.
we have these overhangs connecting a lot of our buildings. So in the winter months, they don't have to walk outside. So it's something that that's such a good question, actually, because it's all about the students and the comfort. So that's something that we are hoping to do after the fact. I will say that the back of the two buildings, there's a little bit of there's opportunity to connect them.
Yeah,
is all I'll say.
easily, yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you, thank you.
Thank you.
What's your current enrollment there right now?
Yeah, so right now, and the latest numbers are, we have about 125 full-time equivalent students. And our head count is up around 320 unique students studying there. Yep, and we're hoping to expand that by about 50 head count. So we're hoping to be up toward about 360 to 370 this coming academic year. So yeah, definitely not zero. And again, the P-TECH partnership is phenomenal. It contributes sizably to that. But we're really holding our weight with a lot of the other offerings that especially in the new building. Yeah.
Public transportation,
Oh yes, that's a good question too. Yep.
how is the progress coming on that? Do students who do not have cars or can't drive, do we have any progress on making access more user-friendly?
Yeah, so that's such a phenomenal question and something that I've been kind of working for a while now. So I met with CDTA actually a couple of years ago, and they said, in essence, is Carmine. I think he's since retired, but I think his answer was the juice really isn't worth the squeeze for them. But if you start getting more volume of people who, more demand, then they would create a route for us. But that doesn't really help us now. And there's new leadership I have yet to meet with down there. Then there was something that sounded very promising, which was this. Have you heard of Tech Valley Shuttle Service? It's this gentleman, but bottom line, they have some sort of grant to shuttle students in under. What's the right terminology there? So like basically in rural areas, underserved kind of areas, and if they meet a certain criteria, they can use this grant to basically pick them up and shuttle them to the campus. So we're in kind of the process of figuring that out for the fall, because that's really when we would really need to launch this in earnest for. So yeah, we are actively trying to figure that out, but warmly welcome any additional ideas, because we really, like, I had one poor student last summer. He was Ubering from Albany 3 times a week. I think it was like 45 up, 45 down. So he's paying $90 every, and this is a student. I mean, I think with the college, yeah, my staff worked something out for that individual case, but for every person like that, there's probably like 5 others who aren't speaking up about it, right? And who are just taking the hit. So yeah, that's a priority to figure that part of it out.
Well, I think I would just like you to know that I really can't speak for everybody here, but I think there are many of us in the town hall who would be supportive of if there's anything we can do, letters written, meetings attended. Please keep us in mind. I do think this region has a lot of needs for folks who can't afford their own car or can't drive for whatever reason. So
Yes, I couldn't agree more, and I really appreciate that you voicing that support, and we'll definitely take you up on that when the time's right. Thank you. So,
Anything else?
all right.
Thanks so much, Jonathan.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'll leave some cards here on the corner of the table.
Perfect.
But thank you for inviting me to
Yep.
your meeting, and hope everyone has a great week.
Yep. Sure, I'll see you again soon.
Yes, definitely. Thank you again.
So next on our agenda, we'll stand and salute the flag and have a moment of silence. Can't leave yet. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everybody. Next up, I'll entertain a resolution to accept the town clerk's minutes from June 30th.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Next is comments from town residents. Now that all those girls left, there's, not that big a crowd left out there. So, all right, we'll move on to comments from town board members and department heads. I just have a couple of things. I did announce this last week, but it bears saying again, because our water bills went out for Malta Water District Number 1, and those bills can now be paid online. If you go to the Town of Malta website, there's, in the water department, there's instructions on there. I paid my own bill online, and it worked just dandy. Another thing is, this Wednesday is the first free concert in Malta at the Malta Community Center. These concerts are rain or shine from 6 to 8 p.m. So just to announce the upcoming ones, Wednesday is British Vinyl Band, not somebody I've heard of. July 16th is Fenimore Blues, and July 23rd is Hammerhead Horns. So please go, they're a lot of fun, appropriate for any age group. As long as they're better if the weather's nice and they're outside, but we move them inside if we have to. And that's all I have. Anybody else have anything? So we have a few action items tonight. The first is waiving the late fees for the town of Stillwater regarding the debt service for Malta Water District Number 1. Brief explanation. We bought the water district, we bought Saratoga Water Services in October. We borrowed $14.6 million to do so. Some of our customers are in the town of Stillwater, and those customers, so we're paying the debt service via tax. We can't tax residents in the town of Stillwater, so Stillwater was supposed to have done it, but they formed the district too late for them to get on the tax bill, so they are now actively just billing those customers to get that money. But in the process, our intermunicipal agreement gives them 45 days to pay that money without penalty, and it's been well over 45 days. So there are significant late fees. At the time that we bought the water system, there were a lot of moving parts, so I have asked that this board agree to waive those late fees for this 1 year. They've established a district now, so it shouldn't be a problem for next year, but the condition is that they pay the $38,000 that they owe us, the $38,412.13 within 30 days. So I'll entertain a motion to accept that.
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Next is a resolution to reflect clerical errors in a intermunicipal agreement that we adopted earlier. And this intermunicipal agreement is part of a stormwater management system, but to help with the new stormwater management laws. It's basically all of the MS4 communities in Saratoga County. It's also an agreement with Saratoga County and the Cornell Cooperative Extension. Can I have a motion to accept that?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next on the agenda is something that the other colleagues of my board asked our town attorney to prepare. The first one is to accept the appointment of a deputy court clerk, which would be an existing court clerk, to give her a promotion to a deputy court clerk. We did go back and forth a lot today with civil service about this, and our town attorney has advised that he thinks we're okay to actually take this action, so I'll entertain a motion if anybody,
So moved.
Second.
any discussion?
Yeah. Sandy, thank you for your service over at the courthouse. When our clerk isn't there, you've always just stood up and filled in for her. Nobody even had to ask you. You've written grants, and you're a long-term employee, and you really deserved this a long time ago when the chief deputy court clerk was established, from what I can see, on calling Jane and Maggie back around 2005. So I would like you to step up and fill that challenge, but you're very qualified, and thank you very much.
Yeah, I just acknowledge that there may be a little paperwork where the local, our law says that position exists, and maybe when we send it downtown and civil service got a little different thing, it doesn't look like a problem. We're going forward with the resolution, and if there's paperwork that's got to follow up and correction of some verbiage, I think we can fix that afterwards, but that's
We'll
what I got.
we'll send it down there and see how it flies.
That's right. But the intent is it's going to happen, one way or another.
Any other comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The next one is to increase the pay for another employee. This does not involve a promotion. It is Adrian Cattell, who is a planner / stormwater management officer.
So move.
Any second? Well, I'll second it for discussion purposes. I want to say, first of all, for the record, that Adrian Cattell is an exemplary employee. We've all seen some of the work he's done. He is really coming into his own. I am not going to support this resolution, though, because I think that that this is the type of discussion that needs to be had during our budget time. The former discussion was a promotion, so we can support that. And I certainly will advocate for many employees to get, raises when we talk about the budget. But I think that whole thing needs to be a more holistic method. And talk about it all together, so.
So moved. Are we ready to?
No, I
Bob
got,
wants to say something.
I got something to say. So how did we get here today, all right? We discussed at the budget last year, that the inequity of, positions or comparable pay with other surrounding towns were, for us to get in line and take care of our employees. And we were looking for an outside help, and then we're going to charge us $54,000 just to say everyone should get a raise, and then we ain't going to pay for that. So I think instead of just, lack of better term, kicking the can down the road, I think Adrian is very well deserved, and it's targeted. And there may be some other targeted pay raises for other well-deserving individuals in the town, but to keep it stagnant and it's all one big catch-all and maybe it'll happen type deal has been going on for long enough. And so that's why I'd be the sponsor of this resolution, and I stick by that. And then hopefully we still get everybody, comparable to other, pay for, compared to the other surrounding areas, and of course, our employees are our number one asset. And we got it pretty good here in the town, I'll tell you right now. So everyone in this building and the other building does a great job. So we need to start taking care of some people, I think. So that's my 2 cents.
Any other comments?
Oh, actually, really, that's my $2.
$2? Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
Any other comments?
Yes, I'd like to make a comment, and I'd like to be embarrassingly blunt. I'm really uncomfortable with this tonight. I know Adrian a little. I admire what he's done and his work. I'm sure he's deserving of this. I'm uncomfortable because we are doing this outside of an established process. This is no reflection. My reluctance should not reflect my feelings about the work Adrian does and his value to this town. I feel rushed into this at the last minute. I don't think the board should be discussing employment matters, employee reviews in public. That's not appropriate. I'm just really uncomfortable. And as I said, however I vote tonight, it will be no reflection on Adrian or his work. I'm really uncomfortable with this, where we've been kind of put into a corner tonight that I don't think we belong in. I think he deserves the dignity of what every other employee here would get, which is a private review and not a public debate of his worth or his work. Thank you.
Well, I guess I got to say something also then. This is not a reflection on him. He's done some fantastic data work on housing that I was extremely impressed with. I mean, it was really a class act. The problem is that we are going to be having an outside agency review all our jobs here. I have always stated the best asset in this town is our employees, and I still go by that. Barbara is correct. How this got public, I'm not sure. On the other hand, I supported Sandy because it's long overdue. The position has been established. She's an outstanding employee, and she's been doing that job for several years, has never complained, and it's well overdue. We will be taking this up in October, all our salaries, and at that time, hopefully I'll see some few more happier faces in town at that time.
One last thing here. First off, I don't want to feel like no one's cornered, because we're not. We all get to vote yes, no, or abstain, so no one should be cornered. Hopefully you don't feel that. I'm sorry, Barbara, if you feel that way. And Rush, I did bring it up about this last meeting, so. And when we're talking about people's salaries and not evaluations, I mean, that's exactly what we do in October. We talk about everyone's salaries with the public here. So if we do it today or we do it in October, it's still going to be done transparently with the public on everyone's salaries in this town. It's you know, granted, we should not be talking about evaluation. Besides, we shouldn't hold someone back because other people aren't getting something either. So that's all I got to say, in all due respect.
Is that it? I will ask the clerk then for a roll call vote.
Councilwoman Connor,
Reluctantly, I am voting no.
Councilman Ricky,
Yes.
Councilman Warner,
No.
Supervisor Young.
No.
That's it for roll call.
Thank you. Next on our agenda is to amend the 284 agreement. The 284 agreement is the agreement between this town board and our highway superintendent to provide highway services to the town of Malta. We hold the purse strings, so if he wants to spend extra money, he's got to come to us. In this, what he's requesting today is that we add an additional $300,000 for stormwater maintenance. It's not, how much is it?
He's just moving some money from roads
Yeah.
Oh,
to the stormwater.
okay. So he's just moving money to do some stormwater management work at the storm drains at the Chango Roundabout. Entertain a motion?
So moved?
Second? Any discussion? All in favor?
Just a quick question.
Oh.
Yeah, is there a reason it's not being done as a budget transfer?
Yeah, well, first of all, yes, it was the way the 284
Oh, okay,
situation with us works.
okay.
So, this is highway stuff. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Last but not least, we have some budget transfers. There's $2,000 for tax collector postage. We get grant money for if somebody participates in the honor flight, which is something that the honor flight takes veterans to Washington to see all of the monuments, and each veteran has their own companion with them. In most cases, the companion has to pay their own fare, but we get a grant to pay for it, so that's a budget transfer so that we can pay for a companion. Then the last three involve moving money from phone to replenish the highway superintendent budget for miscellaneous equipment and supplies. So nothing major. Can I get a motion?
So, second?
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Next, we have any additional comments from the public? No? Any additional comments from board members?
I have just one question.
Yeah.
The concerts that are being held at the community center,
Yes.
what's being done with the gazebo that used to do things like that, that doesn't do anything anymore? Is it just sit there empty?
It just sits there empty. One of the problems with that gazebo is there's a lot of traffic noise down there. There's not adequate parking. And, I mean, basically, it's also privately owned. It's owned by Nigro. So these are nice. We use the little gazebo outside of the community center and, not as much road noise. So,
I have something to say at the end. Last Thursday night, the town of Stillwater had their, I think it was 6th annual fireworks, and they do a phenomenal job out on the water. But as I headed out, I was approached by the supervisor, and he said, next year, is going to be twice the size with 2 barges out there and celebrate of our holiday. So it's a great event. I've been attending it for years, and it's a great turnout, and it's spectacular. I highly encourage anybody to see it next summer, July 4th. That's it.
anybody else?
Just want to make it clear, there's no budget impact in these changes.
Yeah,
Right.
right. Julie explained, we're moving money from one place to another. Anything else? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thanks, everybody, for coming out.